Welcome back to On Everything, y'all. This is the show where I cover really everything. I really don't believe in the limitation. I think your mind should expand and go as far as people will follow. Sometimes people won't even follow it, but I think it's good to have that mental exercise going on. My name is Jay Floyd. For those who don't know, I am a leader in the tech space. I'm a data engineering manager. I'm an author. I've written a number of books. My life story, my memoir called The Poet Who Watched the Whole Parade. It's a really good story. I know a lot of people say that kind of thing, and, I'm actually pretty humble about this offering. It was my first book, and I know it could be a lot better. Literary wise, there's a lot that I've learned in the 11 years since it was published, but I stand by it as it's just such a strong story. Even the limitations of me as a writer couldn't hold it back. So if you go on Amazon and look right now, if you see Jay Floyd, the poet who watched the whole parade, you will see that it is 5-star reviewed. Every single review is at a 5. So yeah, it was a really great experience. I've written a couple of other books, The Unofficial Guide to Fatherhood, which was a collaboration between me and about, I think it was 8 or 9 of us who are authors in all different walks of life, man. Some of us were 60, some of us were 30, black, white, some were best-selling authors, some were just new authors like me, rookies, veterans, all of that. We all got a chance to write a few chapters on what fatherhood means to us and how we approach fatherhood. Really great, really growing experience. It really stretched me, grew me. My last and most recent book, I won't say last because I got more coming, man. My most recent book is called The Driver's Seat. It is my life coaching manual. It's what I guide myself through. It's the thing that I built, that I lived, how to get out of the back seat of my life, how to see my life as a special vehicle, and how to respect it and go back and get out of the back seat of it, hop in the driver's seat of this special vehicle, appreciate how unique and valuable and powerful it is, and start to repair my roads and follow the navigation a little better, right? All of those books are available on Amazon. I highly recommend anybody who's listening, all 75 of y'all, all of y'all listening, man, if you don't have any of those books, go get them. I think you will be blessed by the stories in them. I think you'll be blessed by the content. So I'm an author. Yes. I'm also a rapper, actor, podcaster, apparently. But man, I've been rapping for a long time, since I was about 14. I've been really taking it serious since I was 18. I've my kids are always baffled when they're like, dude, you put out 10 albums. 10 albums. I did. Yeah, 10 albums, man. Probably even more than that if you count all of the group stuff, solo stuff, passion projects, probably more like 16, 18. I'm a person who, when I get that calling, man, it flows through me. And I like to get it out to the world. I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I'm an actor. I've been in 3 movies so far. I auditioned on the fly for a sitcom, an ABC sitcom. And actually, I got the role, but the sitcom was not pushed through. Didn't make it through with funding. But man, just maybe that's what this episode is about, man. Just if you feel something in you, you got to just go for it. You got to go for it. Leverage your time and use your time wisely. One of the things about me, man, the most important thing to me is to follow my passions. That is my number one hobby, recreation, everything. I don't play video games. I don't golf. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't go to the club. None of that. Every time I get free time, I'm either with my family or I'm in my office putting in work on things I love to do. With that said, the most recent thing I've been putting in a lot of work on is my first fiction novel. And this ties back to the original point. One of the things that I firmly believe in, you'll see this all over open book media, man, the stuff that we go through in life, man, I know everybody out there listening, I know y'all been through some shit. I know y'all have. I know life is tough, man, and life will deal us a hand. And, sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's joyful, The good thing is none of those last. None of those last. It's always going to switch up and be something different. But the things that we've been through, they do not disqualify us. I'm going to say this again. The things you've been through, especially those ugly, hurtful, traumatic, painful things you've been through, they do not disqualify you. In fact, my hot take, this is more than a hot take, it's kind of the basis of my entire platform, is that those things qualify you. They uniquely qualify you. You ever heard of a Hublot? Hublot is a watch. It's a really expensive watch. Rappers, Jay-Z like to talk about it. Like a Maybach, really expensive car. You hear Rick Ross talking about Maybach music. The reason those things are so powerful and they wield so much value, just so that a rapper, just by saying the words, can sell records or get clout. The reason why is because those things are rare. They're rare. There's only a few of those, right? So, if some celebrity is just talking about their Hublot or their Maybach, they're talking about it because it's only a few of them. It may only be 50 in the world, and they had the money to buy one. So I say all that to say, we have to understand that even though the things we've been through were hurtful, were painful, traumatic, and we've had to go to therapy. Some people haven't even gone to therapy yet. They're struggling with it. But guess what? Those things uniquely made you rare. They make you a one of one. If you look at any luxury category, I don't care whether it's a watch, a car, whatever, a purse, whatever. If it's a one of one, imagine a painting, the Mona Lisa. Imagine that piece of art, one of one. That's what you are. There's nobody else that has been through what you've been through, that has seen what you've seen, that's processed what you've processed, that's learned what you learned the hard way and the easy way. There's nobody else that has that unique combination of experience, wisdom, earned knowledge. It's nobody else but you. You are a one of one. So when you look at your life like that, the moment you feel a spark, let's say you got a story in you, you got to tell it. You have to tell it, because who else will? Nobody else can tell your story. You ever watch those like Lifetime movies where they'll try to make a biopic of somebody's life? It'll be like some celebrity we all know and love. We've seen our entire lives. Then you watch this biopic and the actor don't really look like them. They definitely can't sing or dance or whatever like them. The story may even be all chopped up and inaccurate. You know why? Nobody else can really tell your story. Nobody else. It's up to you to get that story out. So, as I sit on the story that I have, when I start thinking about the things that uniquely qualify me, when I think about the things that have hurt me in life, things I've been through, think about losing my grandma when I was 6 years old. And she was the most important figure to me in the world. I think about losing my uncle when I was 14 years old, and he was the most dominant male figure in my life. I think about my brother getting murdered My only brother getting murdered when I was 16. And he was the most dominant male figure in my life at that point. I think about my mom passing at age 21 when I was 21, and me coming home from college and going to my mom's little 1-bedroom apartment and her not answering the door and me running and putting my shoulder through the door and finding her in there on the floor, deceased. I think about that moment. My mom, the most central figure in my life, losing her when I was 21 years old. I think about my dad, who I had a rough go with. I didn't have a very close relationship with for the first 15 years of my life. And then by the time I'm age 34, he's my best friend, and he's seeing me every week and he's visiting. We are closer than ever. And then losing him. And by the age of 34, feeling like I don't have anybody here on this world. I think about those moments, and that all sounds like painful stabs, each one of them. Even now, retelling it, just saying one sentence about it, because I'm not really retelling it. I'm summarizing it up into one sentence. Each one of those is a really big story. But just saying those now feel like stabs. But the thing is, everything I've been through in all stabs, it's beautiful. It's been a beautiful story. It's like an opera, long story. Goes all the way back to 1976 when I was born. And the thing I find interesting now is here in 2025, thinking back to the 1970s is almost like reaching back into the archaic ages, you know? So I decided to start writing fiction. Why fiction? Well, because I already wrote my life story. You can go read it. All of those things that I just mentioned, I wrote that. I wrote all of that in the book called The Poet Who Watched the Whole Parade. So what's next? Well, I think there's more meat on the bone. The things I saw growing up in the 80s, the things I saw growing up in the 80s in the Midwest, in Cleveland, in urban settings, trying to get out of urban settings, trying to move into suburban settings, seeing both, the clash of them. It's such a unique, vivid story. So I wrote a manuscript. It's my first fiction book. It's actually the first of a series. It's hopefully coming out this year. I sent it off to a bunch of publishers. I got some really good response back. I had a meeting yesterday. This was my second meeting that I had with a publisher. This time it was with the owner of the publishing house. You know, she made time to sit down and meet with me and ask me about my story. And I was able to relate to her, man. Like the thing that she was like, what's your vision? Where do you want to go with this? And I said, you know what? I can recall about 18 years ago watching Moana with my family. And I remember being so jealous. I was so jealous that Disney could tell this beautiful, vivid story of Pacific heritage life, their history, their present, the ties that bind the two. I love it. By the way, Moana is still my favorite Disney movie of all time. But every time I watch it, and even every time I think about it, I just think, why is there no story like that about where I come from? There's no story like that about Black families that moved from the South in the U.S. to the North in the beginning and early parts of the 20th century and pursuing jobs and having families and getting divorced and living in the slums and coming out of those slums and trying to get to the suburbs and making it to the suburbs, and pimps, prostitutes, drugs, alcohol, cars, successes, doctors, lawyers, postal workers, GM workers, factory workers, union workers, government workers, military people, drug dealers, gang bangers. Who's going to tell that story? So that's my drive. That's my passion. When I do world building, I'm building that world back in a vivid and entertaining way. So be on the lookout, y'all. I got the manuscript into some hands. I'm super excited about it. I would love for this book to come out this year. I will be trying to interact with y'all as much as I can, asking y'all questions, letting y'all have a piece, put some skin in the game. You know, y'all can help me make cover decisions and design decisions and things of that nature. And especially as I start working on the sequel, would love to hear what y'all think about it. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that again today. If you have a story in you, I want you to take a moment and think about the things you've been through. I want you to understand that those things don't disqualify you. They make you a one of one. So what are you going to do with that one of one? Maybe it's not a story. Maybe it's not a song. Maybe it is a song. Maybe it's a movie. Maybe it's a speech. Maybe it's a TED Talk. Maybe it's a podcast. Whatever it is, I want you to take a moment and reflect on your life and not see it as something that brings you down, but see it as something that will take you exactly where you need to be. You are a one of one. You are rarer than rare. So special. You know, a Picasso, or, you know, like I talked about, the Mona Lisa, some valuable piece of art, even if it's a one of one, even if there's only one copy of it, it's always going to be exactly that. It's just a work of art. But me and you, we're not always going to be this that we are right now. We have a different intrinsic value right now, in that there's a spark inside of us keeping us alive, pushing us, making us go. And the moment that spark goes away, then we'll change form and we'll go back to the dust. So we are a little bit different. I think we're even more unique, even more rare. Because you're not only a one of one, but you're in rare form, which means you are alive, you are able-bodied, and your mind works. You're in rare form. Yeah, maybe we'll touch on that a little bit more next time. But yo, thank you for joining me. I said that I wasn't going to keep these episodes too long. So thanks for joining me again on everything. Come back, like and subscribe on every platform that you see this on. I hope Spotify is listening and trying to sign me up for a contract or something. Yo, I love y'all, man. Peace. Ready to revolutionize your content creation? Discover Deep Brain AI, the cutting-edge solution in AI video synthesis. Create lifelike AI videos with ease, ideal for presentations, educational content, or just boosting your digital marketing. Your AI avatar waits to deliver messages with natural expressions and natural voices. It'll be just like hearing and seeing you and me. Experience the future of communication with Deep Brain AI. Discover more right now at what'sgood.work and click on our link that says visit our sponsor.